Welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist Podcast, where I empower you to develop sustainable habits, challenge society, and take messy action. I'm Christine, life balance coach and world champion ballroom dancer, and I believe that everyone has the power to create their very own life by design. The Recovering Perfectionist Podcast was created with a mission to encourage a life of abundance by finding peace and acceptance in our own imperfections and developing healthy self-love through sustainable habits and manifestation. It's time to align with the universe for the full human experience and redefine what it really means to be successful.
It's too good, the secret is out and wow.
Hello all, and welcome to the second episode of the Recovering Perfectionist Podcast. I'm Christine, and today we're going to talk about resolutions versus intentions. First of all, what I'd like to do at the top of every podcast at this point, and again, this is the Recovering Perfectionist, so we're kind of just rolling with the flow here. I think we should just kind of go back and review how the week went. So this week was intense for multiple reasons. It was the first week of 2021, which is amazing, and we made it, and we're here, and this is so awesome. But we did have some crazy things happening, and I think a lot of people have been already canceling the year. So I'd like to share my thoughts on that. And basically the way I feel and what I've been feeling this entire time is I was excited about 2021, but I also understood the reality of the situation that, things aren't just going to change overnight because the calendar says it's a new year. And we're still in a transition period, honestly. So everyone needs to calm down and keep going. I understand that that's easier said than done. And for the record, I do not agree with what happened at the White House and all of that stuff. And I'm also very triggered by all of that. But we need to understand that change is not going to happen overnight. There are things that are happening. Their change is progressing forward, but also you can't change what is happening. A lot of those things we have no control over. So we can only control our reaction and also how it affects our energy. So basically, it changes for you when you understand yourself and you love yourself and put yourself in a better position to be happier and succeed by cutting out some of that negativity that you're seeing. And you can't just cancel a year already after 5 days. We need to grow through it, and we need to understand that life is a journey, and we're all on this journey. And make sure that you are allowing yourself time to breathe and to have self-care. And maybe you need to take a half a day off and just say, I'm gonna walk around the neighborhood, and I'm going to create some white space in my life, and I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to journal, and I'm going to get all my emotions out, and then I'm going to move forward. So I think that there are still some amazing things that have already happened this year, and we need to look at the positive things and not already be upset about the things that we kind of were not surprised were going to happen. For one, we still have the same president, so all of these things are still possible. So I think as much as everyone was upset and triggered, I don't think any of us were shocked by it happening. I think this is just kind of how 2020 was, and now we just had higher hopes. But again, progress. I think a lot of things are going to change in the next 3 months, and stay positive. So, in keeping with that, also, side note, Elon Musk officially became the richest person on the planet 2 or 3 days ago. And that is huge for multiple reasons. And I think the biggest thing right now that I can see is that he is the first person that has created wealth by putting people and environment first and not consumerism. So the other person that he just passed was Jeff Bezos, who I think also has an incredible product and everything, but it's consumerism and he's rich because of Amazon. However, Elon Musk put all of his own money in after I believe he's the one that started PayPal, and then sold his company, put all of his own money into electric, Tesla, all of his businesses, SpaceX, all of that. And every Tesla he sold, he was losing money. But he had a bigger vision. And that was the idea, is it's always about a vision. Keep that in mind. The vision is really the vehicle to which you can get something done. And by him having a vision, he was able to, he had his own money as well, that helped. But by being able to back his vision with his money, he didn't care if he was losing money on every car or whatever, because he knew that it was for the greater good. And eventually it would catch up. And he was right. So however many years, I don't know his whole story and trajectory, but however many years it took for everybody to catch up to his vision and for people to see the value in what he was doing for the environment and for humanity and for human connection and all of these things, they now value what he's saying, and they started buying into his products and his ideas and his, backing him as investment. And here we are. He has now become the richest person in the world. He has surpassed Jeff Bezos. And he did it all without trying to sell people on his idea. He was just moving forward. If people bought into his idea, it didn't matter to him, because he knew that he was doing the right thing. And that is powerful. And he was losing money for many, many years, putting his own money into it. With SpaceX, if those of you saw that documentary, that they would go up in the air, all the spaceships and all the rockets and everything, and millions of dollars gone in the blink of an eye. But he knew that this is the vision that he's trying to accomplish. And eventually people will catch up. And if they don't, it doesn't matter. He's going to keep going. So that's a nice transition into our intentions versus resolutions episode. And what I would like to say about that is that it's 2021. Here we are again. Everyone's making New Year's resolutions. Are you one of those people that makes resolutions? Are you someone who makes a vision board at the beginning of the year? Are you someone who kind of just journals out things? What's your method? And if you don't have a method, why not? Are you interested in having a method? Do you make goals for the year? Do you feel like when January 1 comes around, it's a fresh start and you're excited to start new things? I will tell you, I personally refresh my vision board probably once every 6 months. And not drastically, just enough to make sure that things are moving along. I have a note on my phone that has all the things all the things I'm in the process of manifesting. I have a journal that has all of, scripting of my future life and all of these different things. And I just kind of do them whenever I feel called to, and I don't put pressure on myself, and I just allow myself to put the vision out there and feel aligned when it makes sense. But the universe knows what I'm trying to manifest, and making sure that everything that I'm doing is working towards those things. And if it's not, then it becomes an energy waster. So in keeping with that, the reason that I feel that resolutions are not the way to go is honestly because the difference between a resolution and, well, first of all, you have everyone that goes into the gym and they're like, right? That's why the gyms are packed in January, because they want to have six-pack abs, or they want to get the best shape for 2021, best body, the best everything. And then you have all the people who have been in the gym all year round and they're like, yeah, I can't wait till February because then the gym gets less crowded, everybody leaves. And why is that? People go in, they buy a membership because that's what society says they should do. And if you want to get six-pack abs, if you want to have the best body, get in the gym. Okay, so they buy a gym membership. They don't have a plan. There's no execution. They're trying to execute, but they don't have a plan on how they're going to execute. Are they going to hire a trainer? Are they going to do a nutrition plan? Are they trying to gain weight, lose weight? What's their, measurable goal every month of what they can gain that's healthy, that's safe, that's logical and realistic? Those things don't usually come into play. A lot of times it's just, I'm going to join a gym and I'm going to work hard and make this happen. And so because they don't have a plan, then they fall off and then it gets hard and they start going through the rough time, and then there's no one there to help them. They don't have that vision that Elon Musk has, where it's like, it doesn't matter what happens if I'm triggered, if people don't believe in me, if I'm spending all my own money, and if I go through a lull of no results, I know that at the end, if I just keep going, then I will succeed. And that's honestly how people succeed, is they just don't give up. And so the idea there is that a resolution is more or less a statement that you're trying to change something or you want to fix something about yourself or your lifestyle. So it tends to inspire negative thoughts about your current situation. And you're going into it because you don't like where you presently are. And I've talked about that in the past, about how that tends to manifest out of scarcity, where I'm not happy with where I am, I don't have enough money, I don't have the love of my life, I don't have the six-pack abs, so I'm going to change that. On the other hand, an intention is much more focused on creating abundance in your life, and it becomes aligned action or plan that allows you to make a change. So by saying that, an intention is something that you have executed a proper plan and you're ready to experience abundance. You know you're going to be successful because your intention is to be successful. However, you're not thinking, I'm not where I want to be, I'm not this, I'm not that. You're more just like, this is the plan of how I can up-level my life, how I can take this quantum up-level and allow myself to be the best version of myself in this new year, or find some new inspiration compared to where I was last year. But also, I think that's another thing too, is we put so much pressure on ourselves for the new year, right? A new year or a birthday or this or that. And that's just kind of like society 101. It's like there's always pressure. There's pressure around Christmas time when all the holiday stuff comes out. Now I have to buy all these gifts for everyone. There's pressure, around Thanksgiving to get the family together. There's pressure around birthdays to, it's another year. So now how am I going to be a better version? And New Year's is New Year's resolutions. So why do we put so much pressure on ourselves around that time? Well, it's kind of like a bandwagon thing. Everyone's doing it. So we should be too. But you really should be having growth all year round. You should always be up-leveling or finding ways to up-level, but also appreciating where you are in the moment. And just making sure that you're not making goals without action. So you really must show up as the version of yourself that already has accomplished that goal. So what does that mean? That's crazy to think, because it's like, well, if I've already accomplished the goal, then why do I have the goal in the first place? But that's not the idea. It's like, how are you showing up in the world? So let me give you an example. So say you're trying to manifest a relationship. And you really want to be in a relationship in the new year, and you really want to have someone, and all your friends are getting married and having kids, and it's time for you to really find that special person. But it goes down to all the little things. Your self-talk, how you are with yourself on a day-to-day, how you show up in the world, how you show up when you're in a crowd of people, all the things. And all of that is the universe is taking note of, and it's seeing it. So what are you telling yourself? Are you dating yourself? If you want to be dating someone and you're trying to manifest the person that's going to take you out on fancy dates and rub your feet and, cuddle up and watch movies with you and make you dinner and treat you right and write you love notes, then why are you not doing that for yourself already? Do you love yourself enough? Or are you looking for validation from someone else to love you, to bring that person into your life, which is manifesting out of scarcity? Because you're like, oh, well, when I have this relationship, then I'll feel loved. But really, you could love yourself first, and then that relationship will show up and you'll be manifesting out of abundance. And I think that's the major difference. Um, but it's also the intention you're putting behind it. So instead of waiting for someone to do all those things for you, why don't you do those things for yourself? Take yourself out on a fancy date. Write yourself a note and put it on the mirror so that every single day you can see it. I just had a friend do this. It was such a great idea. She ordered a something off of Amazon, and she sent her, essentially, it was something that she needed, but she knew that she was making things more difficult by not having this. And so she ordered it, sent it to herself, and it arrived in a week or two. And she put a note on attached to it like it was going to someone else, like a gift note. And it was a sweet note to herself once she received it, saying, take it easy on yourself, make life a little bit easier, and surrender yourself to the universe. And then she got this, this thing that was helping her do that as well, which she ordered and knew it was coming, but she had forgotten that she wrote that little note in there. And what a beautiful thing for the universe to remind her of, to then basically she sent herself love and patience and guidance. On top of that, the thing that she ordered. And so I think we underestimate how to love ourselves. And I also don't think that society shows us how to do that. I think, especially in the United States, we're always told that we're not good enough because we don't look like a Kardashian, because we don't have enough money, because we're not, whatever. There's so many things that we're not. We're not watching the hottest Netflix show. We don't have the hottest new handbag. We don't have whatever. And so we're not enough. But I'm hoping that we're moving into a much more energetic space of life where we are allowing ourselves to know that we are enough, and it is our choice to want to up level and constantly be growing and be the best version of ourselves we can be. And that is going to be perfectly imperfect, which ties right back into this. So essentially, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are doing what you want to attract. So another thing, as a quick tip that I've gotten from my coach, is if you're trying to attract money, the idea is that you need to spend money. Well, when you're trying to attract money, it's hard to spend money. That's the hardest one. So start small. Do little things, because even the littlest thing has the biggest impact on the universe. So if you go buy coffee, which most people buy coffee every day, and your coffee is like $2 or $3, tip 100% and put that money out into the universe and give her $6. And every time you swipe your card or you spend money or you click a bill to pay for a water bill, thank yourself for that coffee you're about to drink that's going to give you energy and that's going to help you to be more alert, and that water bill that allows you to have clean water in your home when you just turn a faucet, and say there's more where that came from. So then that way you know that every time you put money out, there's more where that came from. It's coming right back to you. So that's a great way to start as well. I think also we need to look back at the year that we just had. I think that's really important. I don't think people do that. They go into the new year and they're like, we're not looking back, especially this past year, because nobody wants to look back at 2020. But it was a very big growth year for a lot of people. I would say almost for everyone. It just depends on how you want to look at growth. But look back and say, where am I right now? What is my current situation? What are my habits? Like, how I'm big on the habits thing. So I'm always looking at, like, do I have good habits? Do I have bad habits? Are they sustainable? How was my 2020? Did I use my time wisely? Did I give time to people that deserved my time? Where did I spend my money? Did I spend money from my higher self, or was I buying things from my ego that felt like I was trying to keep up with the Joneses? Also, did you use money to invest in yourself? I think that's a huge one that people forget. That they're like, well, I bought this new mic so I can do this. I bought this new thing, so I bought a new Mac so I can up-level my business. but did you invest in a coach to help you be a better version of yourself? Whether it's a business coach to grow your business, a manifestation coach, a life coach, if you need some therapy, a therapist, did you invest in yourself to have someone guide you through this process? Because we all need to ask for help. Look through old photos and, the photos on your phone and your calendar, and just see what you did. Just skim through it and see, like, how did I spend my time? Like, would I do that again? Was it worth it? Did it make me better? Or was it just time fillers? You know? What overwhelmed you? What brought you joy? Like, did you have times where, oh my gosh, that was so great. I absolutely loved that time, or I loved doing that. I should do that, more of that. What are the things that overwhelmed you, and what did you learn from them? And what kind of conversations did you have with people? Were they filler conversations, or were they conversations that actually made a difference, that mattered? I think in 2020, a lot of us had conversations that were a lot deeper and a lot more intentional. But were you having those conversations out of anger and fear, or were you having them out of love and acceptance and trying to, move society forward? What was your mindset like overall? And I know 2020 was hard, but try to be, objective about the situation. What's your mindset mostly? And did you feel gratitude? I think that's the biggest one, is if you're not feeling gratitude, gratitude is literally the energetic vibration of abundance. So you need to be feeling gratitude all the time for whatever. And I think what my manifestation coach has helped me to realize is that gratitude is everywhere. And I knew that, but she helped me to really dig deep into the details, like to the extent of the clean water that comes out. Or specifically for me, my biggest issue is food. And not in the way that most people have it. Mine is I work, and I push off meals. And I am extremely grateful for my body that it's able to maintain, because I'm not treating it with very much respect, but it is not the most that I'll get is a headache, And so I am very grateful for my body that it is able to push through some of those seasons of work that I have to go through. And that I can just grab a protein bar and call it a day or whatever. But again, those are the habits and things that, I'm not perfect. I'm a recovering perfectionist as well. So those are the things that I'm working on this year, is making sure that I'm taking more time to properly nourish my body with the proper food, and not feeling like it's a waste of time and I don't have time to cook this and I don't have time to eat that, or just eating on the run. Like taking the time, because that's really important to me and it's something that I value. But I'm also very grateful that my body's been able to handle what I've been putting it through during my seasons of work, and knowing that I need to do better. And I think we need to just go back to not putting so much pressure on 2021. It is a different year. We want to be hopeful that it's going to be new and different. But again, you have control over your destiny and how your life is. And I will say that the people who thrived in 2020, it was because they took control of it. And, just a short little story of how it went for us. My fiance and I, we were supposed to travel all of 2020. We were going to go to Europe for 6 weeks in April. We were going to Panama in October. We were going to Maui in July. And we were doing a bunch of things. We're naturally, heavy travelers already, but 2020 was supposed to be a major travel year for us. And obviously that was not an option for a lot of people, including us. And so what we ended up doing is we came back to the drawing board, we reevaluated, we looked at all of our options, and we decided if we weren't traveling, what would we be doing? Obviously we'd be, continuing to build our businesses and stuff, which we do on the road as well. But really, we just would be spending probably more time with family. So we looked around, and I have family in Kansas City. He has family in Boston. And we have some family in California. And so we're in Las Vegas, and I said, well, let's try to go spend some time with people we don't normally get to spend time with. And usually for us, it's other friends of ours that are on the road as well. So we all just kind of miss each other, and we catch each other at certain events or whatever. So we went and spent 2 months in California with a friend of ours, and we got to hang out. And we're usually never all in the same space for longer than a week or so. We went to Kansas City and spent time with an amazing friend of ours who we don't get to see very often. And we got to connect with him, and we got to, play games and actually like really continue our friendship in a great way. I also got to see my mom, which I don't get to see but once or twice a year, which was great. We got to celebrate all our birthdays because we just happened to be, that month. And we really took in, and we still got to travel. We got on one plane to Kansas, and then we actually, because we had all this stuff we needed to bring back from my mom, we decided to rent a car and we drove from Kansas City to Las Vegas. So we did a road trip. And I think a lot of people did road trips last year, but we definitely took advantage of that moment. And it was great. And it was something we never would have done if we were traveling in Europe and other countries. And so we got to really like reevaluate what travel was for us and so the year for us was really great and successful. And we didn't allow Corona or government things. We did everything safely, but we also did what was right for us. And I think that's the biggest key right now is make sure that you're doing what is right for you. As long as you're not hurting anybody, don't allow somebody or something or a law or regulation or something to stop you from accomplishing your dream. You just may have to pivot. And that's what we did. We still traveled, but we pivoted and we traveled in a different way, a little more safely, within our own country, took different modes of transportation. We were creative and we made it happen. And so don't forget that you have the power to control how you react to things, your emotions, and all of that stuff. So I encourage you to do a self-evaluation. I like to look at life as 3 pillars. So you have health and wellness, relationships and love, essentially, relationships and love, and money and career. And write all of these down at the top of a list and create 3 columns. And figure out which pillars are, thriving and which ones aren't. And ask yourself, how can I be doing better in any of these pillars? What's working for me, what's not? And I think it makes it a lot more clear and concise to look at it that way and not feel overwhelmed where, oh, this isn't working, and it ends up being all like 20 different things in all these different areas. If you just look at it like that and start from the basic necessities of life, I think it's going to make it a lot less overwhelming for you. And then ask yourself, if I have blank, whatever that is, then I'll be happy. Fill in that blank. And then ask yourself, why are you not happy now without that thing? And that is why year after year, your manifestations and goals are not happening. Because you're going into the idea of, I'm not happy without this. So at the beginning of the year, I'm going to make a resolution to change this based out of me not being happy in the present moment. And I'm just going to go and figure out how to get it. And that's really not manifesting. And there's no intention behind that. There's no plan. There's no action. So by trying to realize what it is that's not making you happy and finding the root of the emotion that you can be happy in that moment right now, that is really going to be the game changer in how you move forward with making not intentional resolutions, but making intentional manifestations and goals for your life in 2021 and years to come. Don't forget, you can only attract what you are, not what you want. So you have to embody the feeling, the idea of what it is you're trying to do. If you want a brand new car, then embody that feeling of what it feels like to be driving in that brand new car, picking it up, putting the key in the ignition. What does it feel like? How do you feel when you're driving this car? Are you excited? Is the wind blowing through your hair? Like, what is happening? And really be in that moment. Not, I'm so sad because everybody else has this car and I don't. So don't attract from scarcity, manifest from abundance. So on that note, we did cover a lot of things, but I hope that this episode served you. I hope that you were able to kind of just do a self-evaluation. I think that is something that is underrated. At the top of the new year, everyone's like, what's your goals? What's your resolutions? And I think that we need to start saying that we need to be doing a self-evaluation. And you could start by using the 3 pillars of life. How are you doing in all of those pillars? And then making intentions. What are your intentions? And ask yourself, why do I want those things? And why am I not happy that I don't have them now? And just dig deeper. Society doesn't really require us or encourage us to dig deeper. They're just like, make a goal and go for it. But that is usually why by February, most people drop off and the goals are done. And then they try to maybe pick it up again halfway through the year. And then by December, it's a lost cause. And they're starting all over again in 2022. So I send you lots of love and lots of light. And I hope that this year, if it hasn't started off as great as you thought it would, that you can start to change your mindset. And I guarantee you, if you change what's in your mind, you will see change around you. So I will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Recovering Perfectionist Podcast. I'm Christine, and if this episode resonated with you or spoke to you in any way, please feel free to share. I absolutely love hearing from you guys and your thoughts about the topics based on your experiences. And also, if there's anything you want me to talk about, just screenshot this episode and share it on social media with your comments. Your feedback really helps me to curate episodes that best serve you. If you have time, I would greatly appreciate if you could leave a review wherever you're listening to this episode, whether on Apple or Spotify or any other platform. I'm wishing you a blessed week ahead, and remember, perfection doesn't exist. Take messy action. Healthy habits keep us balanced, and you are enough.